A very good morning, students. Today we will be discussing about marginal costing, an introduction and overview of marginal costing. The key takeaway of this lecture would be meaning of marginal cost and marginal costing, marginal cost versus absorption cost, a certain income under both marginal costing and absorption costing. Moving on to the introduction, what is marginal costing? The costs that vary with the decision should only be included in decision making. If the cost is going to vary depending upon the changes in the decision, only such cost should be included in decision analysis. So for many decisions that involve relatively small variations from existing practice and or are for relatively limited periods of time, fixed costs are not relevant to the decision. This is because either fixed costs tend to be impossible to alter in the short term, or managers are reluctant to alter them in the short term. The definition of marginal cost and marginal costing. So what is marginal cost? The cost of producing one more unit is called as marginal cost, or in other words, the cost which could be avoided by not producing an additional unit is called as marginal cost. Then what is marginal costing? It is an approach in which only variable costs are included in cost of sales. That means fixed costs are treated as period cost and are written off as incurred. As and when they are incurred, it is written off. Now, how do we identify the marginal cost of a product? The marginal cost of a product is identified as variable cost direct labor plus direct material plus direct expenses plus variable overhead. Moving on to the theory of marginal costing, as set out by CIMA London, in relation to a given volume of output, additional output can normally be obtained at less than proportionate cost because within limits. The aggregate of certain items of cost will tend to remain fixed, and only the aggregate of the remainder will tend to rise proportionately with an increase in output. Conversely, a decrease in the volume of output will normally be accomplished by less than proportionate fall in the aggregate cost. Going through this definition, you might not be able to follow. So taking through the meaning of marginal cost with simple steps. So let us understand the theory of marginal costing with simple steps. It says that if the volume of output increases, the cost per unit in normal characteristics, normal circumstances reduces. Conversely, unlikely, if an output reduces, the cost per unit increases. For example, if a factory produces 1000 units at a total cost of rupees 3000, and if by increasing the output by 1 unit, the cost goes up to rupees 3002, the marginal cost of additional output will be rupees 2. That is the difference between the total cost of producing 1000 units and the cost of producing 1000 plus 1 unit. So that difference in cost will lead you to marginal cost. So additional cost divided by additional units, 45 divided by 20 will give me 2 rupees 25. If an increase in output is more than 1, the total increase in cost divided by the total increase in output will give you the average marginal cost per unit. For example, the output is increased to 1,020 units from 1000 units, and the total cost to produce these units is rupees 1045. The average marginal cost per unit is rupees 2.25. That is 45 is the additional cost and additional units is 20. So 45 divided by 20 will give me 2 rupees 25 paisa. Let us go through another definition on marginal costing. Marginal costing is defined as a technique of presenting cost data wherein variable cost and fixed cost are shown separately for managerial decision making. It should be clearly understood that marginal cost is not a method of costing like process costing or job costing. Rather, it is a simple method of or technique of the analysis of cost information for the guidance of the management, which tries to find out an effect on profit due to changes in the volume of output. Now, coming to the alternative names for marginal costing. Marginal costing is called as direct costing or variable costing. Because in the previous slide, we understood that it is a technique of presenting data wherein variable cost and fixed cost are shown separately for managerial decisions. For this reason, it is called as direct costing or variable costing. Now coming to the concept of contribution. Contribution is sales revenue minus variable cost is your contribution. So contribution is being defined as the profit before the recovery of fixed cost. Contribution goes toward the recovery of fixed cost and profit and is equal to fixed cost plus profit. Contribution is equal to fixed cost plus profit. So what is break-even point? It is a case where a firm neither makes profit nor suffers losses. So contribution will be equal to the fixed cost. So this is known as break-even cost. Now, what is its relation with marginal costing? The relationship is that the concept of contribution is very useful in margin costing. It has a fixed relationship with sales. The proportion of contribution to sales is known as PV ratio, which remains the same under given condition of production and sales. Moving on to the principles of marginal costing. There are 4 important principles of marginal costing. The first principle is for any given period of time, fixed cost will be the same for any volume of sales and production. That means at a given level of activity, the fixed cost will remain the same. Therefore, by selling an extra item of product or service, the following will happen. Revenue will increase by sales value of the item sold, or the cost will increase by the variable cost per unit. Profit will increase by the amount of contribution earned from the extra item. The second principle is if the volume of sales falls by one item, the profit also will fall by the amount of contribution earned from that particular item. Coming to the third principle, the profit measurement should therefore be based on analysis of total contribution. So the third principle says that profit measurement should be based on the analysis of total contribution, because fixed cost relates to the period of time and do not change with increase or decrease in the sales volume. The fourth principle is when a unit of product is made, the extra cost incurred in its manufacture are the variable production cost. So fixed costs are unaffected and no extra fixed costs are incurred when output is said to be increased. Coming to the features of marginal costing, we have 3 important features of marginal costing. One is cost classification, stock and inventory valuation, and marginal contribution. So what is cost classification? So the marginal costing technique makes a sharp distinction between the 2 different costs, variable cost and fixed cost. It is the variable cost on the basis of which production and sales policies are designed by a firm following the marginal costing technique. Next, What is stock or inventory valuation? Under marginal costing, stock or the inventory for profit measurement is valued at marginal cost. It is in contrast to the total unit cost under absorption costing method. It is different in the costing method. Then marginal contribution. So under marginal costing technique, marginal contribution for making various decisions are being considered. What is marginal contribution? It is the difference between sales and marginal cost. It forms the basis for judging the profitability of different products or departments. So that's about the features of marginal costing. Now, looking into the marginal costing pro forma, we have sales revenue. And from the sales revenue, we minus the marginal cost of production, for which we will be considering the opening stock, add the production cost, less the closing stock. So we will get the marginal cost of production. To this, we will be adding the selling and distribution cost. So we will have marginal cost of sales, COS. The difference between the sales revenue and the marginal cost of sales will give me the marginal contribution. From the marginal contribution, when you minus your fixed cost, you get your marginal profit. So this is your marginal costing pro forma. Now coming to the absorption costing pro forma, we have sales. We take the opening inventory, that is we calculate the cost of production, okay, or cost of sales. At full production cost, we will have materials, labor and overheads we are going to take. From that, we will be minusing the closing inventory at full cost. We get the production cost here. So the difference between sales and the production cost, we get a balance. And from this balance, we are going to go for adjusting the over or under valuation of the overheads. So overvaluation of overheads will be adjusted based upon whether they are added or they are going to be minused. So production overhead absorbed and production overhead incurred, we minus from that. So what is actually absorbed and what is incurred, the difference between that will be taken here. And to that, we will be adjusting non-production overhead as well, like administration, selling and distribution cost also will be minus from it. And the difference between these two will be the absorption costing profits. Most of the time, when you reconcile these statements, the profits will never match. The profits as per margin costing is different and the profits as per absorption costing will be different. The reason is basically two important reasons. One is the over and undervaluation of absorbed overheads and the difference in the stock valuation. The stocks could be overvalued or it will be undervalued. Similarly, the overheads also in absorption costing, it is overvalued and undervalued. And similarly, in marginal costing, we take the marginal overheads. So because of this reason, marginal costing and absorption costing profits never match with each other. With this, I end the class for today. In the coming class, we will be discussing more about the classification of cost and the marginal costing concepts. Thank you. Have a nice day.